Good evening and welcome to the Town of Smyrna Council meeting. Before we move into our meeting agenda, we have two citizens' comments tonight. First, we have Don Dorth of 8012 Moet Court, Vineyards flooding problems. Don, are you here? Okay, don't see Don, so we will move on to Elizabeth White, member of Read to Succeed's One Book Committee. We're always glad to see Read to Succeed. Come right up. And if you'll just state your name and address just for the record for us.
All right, my name is Elizabeth White, and my address is 146 West Clearview Drive, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Thank you.
All right, happy to be here. I recognize a lot of you already. I'm here on behalf of Read to Succeed. Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for allowing me time today at your meeting. My name is Elizabeth White, and I'm here on behalf of Read to Succeed, which has been promoting literacy in Rutherford County for over 10 years. I know you're familiar with and participate in some of our programs such as Reading in the Schools Day, Unplug and Read, Read to Be, the Celebrity Spelling Bee, or many of our other family and adult literacy programs. So I'm here tonight to bring your attention to this year's One Book Community Read program, and we've got our book choice for this year. Each year we join with the Rutherford County Library System and various other community partners to ask adults in Rutherford County to read the same book. Over the past years, we promoted nonfiction, literary fiction, and popular young adult choices. This year, drum roll here, we selected Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Okay. The New York Times bestseller is a science fiction novel set in a dystopian futuristic setting. The story follows protagonist Wade Watts in 2044 on his search for an Easter egg in a virtual reality game called The Oasis. Should Wade beat other gamers and an evil corporation to the secret, the discovery will lead him to inherit a fortune in a world wrecked by an energy crisis. The film adaptation, directed by Steven Spielberg, is going to be out on March the 30th. Okay, so this is a tie-in to an upcoming movie. All right. My personal comments, I'm not a science fiction person, so I really liked it, and I especially liked it because it gives a lot of references to 90s pop culture. Family Ties talks about funny movies like the Chucky movie, you know, the doll, and also King Kong, and also some of the games that were played. Centipede. I don't know if any played Centipede when you were little. So that's why I especially liked it. And my son, who's a reluctant reader, really liked it. So it kind of brought generations together. Someone that's an older generation, middle-agers, or baby boomers bringing together with a generation X or Y, which I thought was really unique with this book. So copies of the One Book can be found around the county at book crossing locations, which are marked by one of the Read to Succeed bread boxes. Found in businesses and libraries across the county, books can be borrowed for free. In each book, you'll find there's a sticker on the inside cover, right here, with information about how to log on to the One Book 2018 Facebook page and share your comments about the book after you've read it. You can pass the copy along to a friend, bring it back to the location where you found it, or drop it in any of the other locations. And I've brought a copy of the book to give to the council and board group tonight, and we ask that one of you take it, read it, go to the Facebook page and write a comment, and then pass it along. Again, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak tonight, and also for taking a leadership role in promoting literacy in Rutherford County.
Ms. White, we really appreciate you being here. I was lucky enough to get to serve on the Read to Succeed board for quite a few years, and the work that y'all's organization does is amazing across our county. It is heartbreaking to know how many people need help with reading and writing across our community, but to know you all have stepped up to do that, we really appreciate you doing that. We always look forward to the book every year, and usually HG starts with the book. HG, are you starting with it this year, or somebody else want to step up?
I think HG should continue to keep the culture and start the reading for us. Yep.
I agree.
I'll let you know if it's got any pictures, Mary.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Did you say that's a future novel about 2044?
2044.
Well, we might have Jefferson Pike by then, right, Mr.
Well, HG will start with our book, and he will log on and put some comments, and then also pass it on to another council member. But we really appreciate all that you do. So
Well, thank you so much. Am I allowed to?
absolutely, absolutely.
You may
He
approach.
won't bite. All right, thank you. All right, thank you. We encourage everybody else to get involved in the One Book program and get a copy of the book, especially before the movie comes out, which said the beginning of March,
March 30th?
March 30th, end of March. So we've got a little while.
Also,
you, guys.
probably want to remind everybody, we just placed one of the borrowed facility type boxes at SOAC
Yes.
just a couple of weeks ago. So there'll probably be one in there that you can come get.
The little libraries we're looking to provide across town. I know that there's one in front of Carpe Cafe, and I think you'll find some across the community. That's one thing that we want to provide, is the opportunity for everybody to get a book and read. And so with those little libraries that you see across town, put in new books, share books with others, and we're excited to get those started.
Yep.
So,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will now move into our meeting agenda, and I will call this meeting to order. Tonight, Police Chief Kevin Arnold's going to do our prayer, and we have down that Miss Diane Waldron was going to do our pledge, but Miss Diane, the Cub Scout Pack 1001, did I say that correctly? Yes, good. They're going to be doing our pledge tonight. We're glad to have them. So, Miss Diane, we'll just let you do it next time. How about that?
That will be fine.
Oh, is that okay? Okay. And Chief, if you'll come forward, if everybody will stand with us for the pledge and the prayer.
Father in heaven, we'd like to take the moment to thank you for this diverse community that we live in and the community that you continue to bestow blessings on. Father, we ask that you be with our town council tonight, give them wisdom and strength to make these decisions. We ask that you be with our employees and keep them safe as they do the citizens' will. Father, we also ask that you watch over those of our citizens that are suffering from illness or suffering from the loss of a loved one. We ask that you give them strength and comfort. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And gentlemen, if you will do our pledge for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You did a great job. Now, I'm going to introduce them a little bit later because they're going to have a special presentation here. So, Miss Diane, if you'll do roll call for us.
Councilman Cole,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Morrell,
Here.
Councilwoman North,
Here.
Councilwoman Peebles,
Here.
Councilman Sullivan,
Here.
Vice Mayor Adkins,
Here.
Mayor Reed.
Here. We'll move on to item 3, which is approval or corrections of the minutes of the December 14th, 2017 and January 2nd, 2018 minutes. Do I have any additions or corrections? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes pass. Item 4 is correspondence or communications. Anything, Mr. Gill?
Yeah, I want to give you a heads up on, we have so many projects going on in our town, and I want to give you just a Cliff Note version on about 5 or 6 of those. First of all, if you don't know, we're extending Enid Springs all the way out to Rocky Fork Road, and there are about 32 or 33 properties that we had to secure right of way on, and we're down to about 3, and we're real pleased with that. We hope to wrap those up, in the next month or so. Kudos to Jeff and Melissa for their hard work, and Tom Rose as well. So it's real exciting to see that in the works. Also, we'll be straightening out Nolan Drive, and I'll be bringing you something in the next probably couple of months. Barge Wagner designing that. It's 90% complete, and we're on the verge of pulling that off, and it'll add so much to the parks out there, and I think to the town center of the SOAC as well. Off of Morton, we'll be building 4 fields this summer at Cedar Stone Park, which we're real excited about. There'll be 4 fields, parking lot, and also a playground. Dempsey Dillon is designing that. Hopefully we'll be open for play in spring of 19. First ball fields we built in 20 years or so, I believe. So they're much needed. Also, there'll be additional fields that'll open eventually out there. Sam Ridley, just a quick update on that. We've got it on the agenda tonight for Gresham Smith to do the engineering on the project. Mr. Peach is working on an agreement with the church out there for the right-of-way on the new Potomac Road, and soon they'll start the NEPA study. So we're moving on that. It'll be probably a 2.5 year project, but we're kind of fired up about seeing Sam really widen it. I'm sure the residents are as well. Blue Angel Memorial is moving along nicely. When's it scheduled, Mayor? June the 2nd for the dedication?
Second weekend in June.
Second weekend in June. And also, I've sent you guys a copy of the budget calendar for the spring, and we're on that now. So that's all I have.
Great. Item 5 is awards and recognitions, and we are so excited tonight because tonight is when we get to do our Christmas parade winners. And for the town, that is a huge part of what we look forward to every year. And I will say, Jill Strange, along with all of her volunteers, does such a wonderful job in making sure the parade happened. I'll be honest. When Roseanne left, I was a little nervous. I thought, oh my gosh, who are we going to get to fill Miss Roseanne's shoes? And you stepped right in there and have done exactly that and added to the parade. So I just want to personally thank you for all you do in making such a wonderful event happen. I cannot imagine all the moving parts and pieces that go along with making a parade happen, but you do it, and you do it in a way that seems effortless. So you always do a great job. So Ms. Jill, thank you. So I'm going to let you come forward at this time and talk a little bit about the winners, and I'll come down to do presentation.
Thank you, guys. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to do the parade. This was my third opportunity to get to do this, and I'm glad you keep calling me back, and I hope I get to come back again. But we had a great time. This year's parade, the 2017, it was Christmas Around the World. It was so much fun to theme and watch and see all the creativity that came to pass. But it was our biggest parade yet that I have been a part of, and we were so worried that it was so big that people might not be there to watch, but they were. So that's a good thing. The streets were lined 9 and 10 and 12 people deep on both sides the entire route, so we couldn't be happier. It was such an amazing thing. One of the amazing parts of it that we have gotten to add in is a food drive. And it started to where all of the participants, they could bring in some food items and donate that in lieu of a parade fee or anything like that to try to help out Chief Culbertson's efforts in running a food drive to help the Nourish Food Bank. So we started that out that first year, 3 years ago, and that first year we got about 1,600 items collected from the parade participants. So last year we thought we'd up our game and invite the residents to also join us. Tom Rose and his team with Mike and the utilities, they dug in deep, and we brought in about a little over 4,000 items. So this year we set a personal goal in the parade to do 5,000 items. We all kind of held our breath. We thought that was a pretty lofty goal, but again, we set out to utilize the parade participants as well as the residents of Smyrna to band together and see what we could do. So with that goal of 5,000, we were able to bring in 7,181 items. So that alone is just phenomenal. That's amazing. And I got to see those truckloads mound up and head over to the food bank and meet the people at the food bank, and it was just an amazing experience. So we far, far exceeded our expectations on that food drive. So thank you to everybody who took part in all that. It meant so much to so many people that we blew it out of the water, and that was probably the most exciting part of the parade for me. A huge part of that, we like to send out this, it's good competition, and competition is fun, but we have a Town of Smyrna Christmas Parade food drive winner to the particular entry that brings in the most food, and they keep this traveling trophy year to year, and they like to put it on their front desk. But last year, Cry Like Realtors of Smyrna took that prize, and this year they did not disappoint, and they came back to us again. And of those 7,181 items, Cry Like brought in 1,978 of those items. That, So with us here tonight, the first award that we want to give out is the Food Drive Collection winner, and it is to Cry Like. But with us tonight is Tom Williams, the broker, Jim Sellers, Tim Rabin, Kalisha Marshall, Amber McCarron, Barbara McKee, and there are so many others that couldn't be here. But if you will, help me again by thanking so much the Cry Like Realtors of Smyrna for almost 2,000 items of our 7,100 being donated to the Nourish Food Bank. Thank you guys so much. If you'll stand with me.
I'll have to tell you, as much as I enjoy the parade itself, this is probably the thing I'm most excited about, to know that our community is enjoying the parade but giving back to each other. And I wasn't here when Our Lady from the Food Bank came, but I know they were so appreciative. So thank you so much for all that y'all have done. And I think you have to do a photo. Okay, so are you going after it next year?
Tim.
Yes, yes. Okay, I heard Lancaster had called y'all and said they were going after it.
But they'll have to have 3,001 pieces.
Oh, okay. But now Heath Holtz is here from Nissan. Heath, I'm putting out a challenge to you all to see if y'all might go after it too. Yes? Maybe? Okay, 3,001. There you go. Thank you for all y'all have done.
Hey, Mayor, can I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
I know this bunch of people right here and have for many, many years, and they do a lot of stuff for our community, not just in the parades, but they do chili cook-offs. They're always inviting those of us in the industry to come by and contribute. So I just want to thank them in our industry, from friends to friends, for what they do in our community. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome at it. So.
I agree.
Who drink eggnog
Tim Rabin actually asked me, did somebody say award?
If you guys will take a look at the screen, that was their front office. And it just kept building and collecting, and then I got a phone call the day of the parade and said, hey, can you stop by our staging location? We have a few more things. And a few more in their eyes was around 200 more things, wasn't it, that day? So the golf cart wouldn't hold it. We had to convoy down there and get more, and we were so excited that seeing that, and I got to be blessed with seeing it in person. And I was looking in the window and just stood there and went, what are we going to do? So we had to call the fire department to help us out. So phenomenal problem to have. So thank you so much. I can't wait to work with you again. Thank you so much. Our next award was for you can take a look at the screen, in our float competition, Christmas Around the World. Our first theme was Best Use of Theme. And this was a phenomenal float. On the other side, there was a mom. Was it a mom soldier on the other side, and she was sitting reading a letter from her family that was on this side of the fireplace. It was a dual-sided float, but it was truly Christmas Around the World, that they were reaching out to each other via our military and home letters and things like that. But it was just touching to see. It was just so special. So Cub Scout Pack 1001 receives the certificate and check for $100 for our best use of theme. And
great. You guys will come on up. Congratulations. 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 Now, who gets the check? Oh, see what? I'll let you each hold it and pass it down. How about that? So, first of all, thanks for being in our parade. We really appreciate it. I'm going to let you tell us your name, and if you want to tell us where you go to school, we'll start with that. How about that, okay?
My name is Miles, and I go to Stewart's Creek Elementary. My name is Nicholas, and I go to Walter Hill. My name is Noah, and I go to Walter Hill.
I won't ask you what school you go to, but I'll let you tell us where that you have your meetings. How about that?
We have our meetings at Stewart's Creek about once a month for the whole pack, and I've been proud enough to lead these guys up from Tigers, and this is the 4th year in a row we've won a prize for a parade float, so we're quite happy about it.
Great. It's great to hear. Now, what was your favorite part about the parade? Think really hard. Anybody have something that was their favorite part? What was your favorite part?
Tossing out candy.
Ah, tossing out candy. We hear that a lot. Well, we really appreciate you all being in the parade, and we hope that y'all will be in the parade next year. You think you will? Great. We love to hear that. So thank you, guys. Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot the lady picture. Okay, we're gonna get one for Mom. Sorry. You're okay. Thank you. Good. Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much.
Now, I'm not sure, did anyone get here from Smyrna Ready Mix?
I'll take their check.
First Presbyterian Church. Okay, so the next two aren't with us, but that doesn't discount what they did for us in the parade. Smyrna Ready Mix won the most creative title, and as you can see on the screen, they built a beautifully constructed cabin and filled it full of love and people, and it was just phenomenal to see in person. It was gigantic. So if you will, just join me in thanking them wherever they are for their most. And then First Presbyterian Church constructed an entire fully functioning train that could carry passengers, and it was about 15 or so cars long. It was amazing. So they take home the most Christmas spirit. So if you'll help me and thank you to them. And last but certainly not least is Lancaster Christian Academy. We're so thankful for Lancaster. I don't know if you saw that their entry was blocks deep. It was so amazing, and they brought every aspect of Christmas around the world that we could have ever imagined, plus some. It was phenomenal, and it blew people's minds. And we are so pleased to see that Lancaster comes in and utilizes the entire school, grades what to what?
4-year-olds to seniors.
4-year-olds to seniors in high school. They bring out the whole team of Lancaster and their staff and their headmaster. It's just a phenomenal contribution to the parade. And we are so pleased to announce that you all won the Mayor's Cup. So if you'll come forward, we want to thank you for that. And we're so, so proud of you guys and hope you'll continue to join us.
Which one of you gets to hold the check? Well, we just want to thank you for all you do for the community. It's not just the Christmas parade, but I know Kevin O'Day actually just emailed me from the Dominican Republic because they're there doing missions work. So they said that, is it next Friday that I saw that y'all are going to be doing the community service?
Yes.
So next Friday, they're going to get out in the community and do things to help the community. So kudos to you all for what all y'all are doing right here in the town of Smyrna. We really appreciate it. And anything else anybody wants to say about the school or what's going on?
He wanted to mention that he wasn't here and he wished that he could be, and he's thankful for the relationship we have with the town of Smyrna. For sure.
Great. Thank you all, and we look forward to next year with you all. So thank you. Oh, wait, picture. That's right. That's right. Well, maybe it'll be for something positive this time and not something negative. Ms. Jill, do we have something else?
I just want to say thank you again to everybody. It took a huge team to do it, and there's so many of you that are here that were supportive and took part in it. And John Lanza, wherever John is, oh my gosh, John's an amazing, huge contributor to the parade. But get ready for 2018. We're bringing it on big and strong. We hope you'll all come back to join us. And for all of you that weren't here for the parade, I hope you will be in 2018. We open up the December 2018. Hope Nissan comes back to join us. But Tom, with the food drive and stuff, thank you for everything that you did and all the effort you put in. Thank you huge. Kevin, for everything that you do for the police department to help us shut town down and keep everybody safe and wonderful. And for all of you, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jill, there's just no way we can say thank you enough, but also to the participants. We just want to thank you all for what you do to help make this event happen. And we also look forward to seeing you next year. I'll tell you, Rudy Kalis has been with me doing commentary the last 2 years, and he just is always amazed at the community feel that we have with our parade and seeing the generations of family that come out every year to see the parade. It was amazing this year to see people in shorts and short sleeves out getting their candy, because I think the year before we were freezing with a little bit of misty rain.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to have those nice days. But we look forward to seeing you all next year, first Sunday in December. So
I really like that Jill calls this an opportunity. You know?
she almost sounds political, doesn't
I mean,
she?
no, it just, it's as if we're allowing her to do it, you know? And she knows she can have this job as long as she wants it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, we will move on to item 6, which is our consent agenda. And just so you know, any of you all that were here for the parade stuff, we would encourage you to stay and offer you the opportunity. But if it's something else you need to do, we understand that, and you're welcome to leave at this point. But we will move on with the consent agenda, and the consent agenda are items that are determined by the town manager to be routine matters that can be voted on all at once. But if there is an item that one of the council members wants to pull off and vote on individually, we can do that. I always like to read each one of the consent agenda items, which tonight there's not many, there's only 3, just so you all know what we're voting on. The first item is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an interlocal cooperation and mutual aid agreement between Smyrna Police Department and other law enforcement agencies within Rutherford County. Item B is approval and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Radio Systems Corporation relative to the Tennessee Dog Park grant. And item C is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a special event application to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers relative to the 2018 Boat Day Waterfest. So is there any item a council member would like to pull off and vote on individually? Seeing none, do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion that we approve.
A motion to approve. Do I have a second?
A second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. We'll now move on to item 7, and tonight we have 4 public hearings. The first one is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 50, parcel 10.00, containing approximately 16.97 acres. It's requested by John Floyd to go from R1 to PRD. The property is located at 401 Amable Road, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Hey, Mayor and Council, there are no changes to this from what you had passed on first reading. This is proposed changing to a R1 to a PRD. Proposed PRD would allow for 162 unit townhouse development. The property does have access to Amable Road as well as Lee Victory Parkway, and they would be utilizing both road frontages. Land use plan would support a mix of office, retail, and multifamily in this area. Surrounding zoning is a mix of R1 and the adjoining Lee Crossing PRD, as well as the Adelaide Park across the street. There's some existing structures on the property that would all be removed, just would really mirror and match the adjoining Lee Crossing developments, the same type of homes, the same developer. Did include everything that was included with their application as far as their pattern book and everything. And the Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously.
Questions for Kevin before we move on to the public hearing? Okay, at this time then, we will go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, we will close this public hearing and go to the council for a motion.
I move we approve.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, any discussion?
Well, just to emphasize, we've discussed this both for me, planning, council workshop, first reading, and to hear. And again, we looked at the consistency of what's being built, the accessibility in and out. We've looked at issues and considered drainage and connectivity, and it's checked all the boxes, so I do support this.
Mark, anything from you?
Well, I agree with Tim.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our second public hearing is a consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 28, parcel 72.06 and part of parcel 72.03 containing approximately 3.56 acres. It's requested by Greg Gamble to go from C2 to PUD. The property is located on Isabella Lane, and this also is a second reading. Kevin?
Yeah, this is, again, it's a request that hasn't changed. Nothing has changed from first reading. This is on Isabella Lane between Rock Springs Road and President Place, adjacent to the Home Depot location. Land use plan would support commercial development in this area. Surrounding zoning is all C2. The proposed PUD is for a 15,000 square feet commercial building and a 3-story, 84,000 square feet climate-controlled self-storage building. It did include everything that was included with their application as a part of this and would become a part of the PUD if it is approved. The Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously.
Questions for Kevin on this? We've talked quite a bit about it. Okay, then we will go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, we will close this public hearing and go to the council for a motion.
Move for approval.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion or comments?
Comment on this one as well. You know, when we looked at this, we considered what was in the existing area. We know that we've talked quite a bit about Rock Springs, and we feel like this would have a minimal traffic impact. And when you look at the lot, you look at the huge retention area, and you consider the topo, this is just a good fit.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably best case scenario for a commercial lot in that area with the traffic congestions we have. This is probably the lowest impact but best yield of use, as well as how it looks. The aesthetics looks really good.
Yeah, the design review is really nice.
I think it's one of the
Yep.
best use cases we could have asked for.
Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to our third public hearing, which is a consideration of an ordinance amending Municipal Code Title III, Municipal Court, Chapter 1, Town Court Administration, Section 3-101, Establishment of Full-Time Town Court, Section 3-102, Maintenance of Dockets, Section 3-108, Imposition of Fines, Penalties, and Cost, and Section 3-110, Disposition and Report of Fines, Penalties, and Cost. This is a second reading.
Yes, Mayor and Council, we've discussed this several times. This basically is a clarification for our municipal code that mirrors the statute for the responsibilities and maintenance of dockets and accounting. And also, while we were making the changes, we also removed any gender-specific references as well.
Questions for Jeff before we go to the public hearing on this? Okay, we will then go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing and go to the council for a motion.
Motion that we approve.
A motion. Do we have a second?
Sure.
Thanks, HG. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Our last public hearing tonight is a consideration of an ordinance amending Municipal Code Title 16, Streets and Sidewalks, etc., Chapter 1, Miscellaneous, Section 16-110, Parades, etc., regulated. This is a second reading. Jeff?
Yes, Mayor and Council, I'll allow Nathan to speak to this. He's the one that's worked on this, put the time in.
You passed this at your last meeting, and this just puts some regulations and guidelines in place for how people may apply and conduct their public gatherings in the town of Smyrna and parades as well. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions for Nathan?
No, I think we discussed the rates and everything at the last meeting, and it's pretty much unanimous.
Well, and I'm glad to see that we're being proactive with everything that's kind of happened in our county over the last couple of months. I like to know that we're making sure everything is in place to keep our citizens safe, but also those that are coming to do a parade or a gathering, that they're going to be safe as well. So I'm glad to see that we're making sure everything's taken care of on the front end. So this is a public hearing. So is there anyone here to speak for or against this item? Seeing no one, we will close this public hearing and go to the council for a motion.
I move we approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to item 8, our new business for our Planning Commission report. Our first item is consideration of an ordinance relative to the annexation of property located on tax map 76, parcel 10.00, containing approximately 19.1 acres. It's requested by S. Collins Properties, LLC. The zoning would be R3. The property is located west of Amable Road and adjacent to parcels previously annexed and zoned PRD Linwood, and it is a first reading. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a request for annexation with an R3 zoning. It's west of Almaver Road. It is directly south and adjacent to parcels that were part of the approved Linwood development. Land use plan would support a mix of office, retail, and multifamily in this area. Surrounding zoning is the PRD in town, as well as RM in Rutherford County. From an annexation standpoint, it does lie within Consolidated Utility District's boundary for water service, but we would be providing all other services. And this would be, from a sewer standpoint, is dependent on the adjoining Linwood development, sewer actually being extended and taking place. So the developers were aware of that. So the plan of services reflects that. It would be something you would look at next month. But Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously.
Questions for Kevin on this?
Comment. I think one of the key components that we considered from a planning perspective is what Kevin mentioned, and that's tying this to the sewer project that Linwood's taking on. So, Kevin, did we discuss 2.5 years maybe at the earliest?
I mean, I don't know
if it's that.
Yeah, if it's that, because it's not I don't know we've had any discussion with anybody representing Linwood about anything. They're moving forward with that right now.
So this is something that wouldn't develop until.
Right. They really couldn't develop till that gets done. Yeah.
And Mike, have we heard anything from them?
I spoke to the Linwood folks a couple of months ago, and they were still evaluating the market. So whatever that means, they said they had not done anything yet. They would let us know when they were ready to move forward.
Okay. Questions for Kevin or Mike? Okay. Any comments? Do I have a motion?
I move we approve.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
One more question. Today, Kevin, how far does our city limits go?
Well, the main part of our city limit stops at basically at Morton Lane, but we actually go down Almaver Road to the Linwood parcel that fronts on Almaver Road.
So on that map, it's that very top spot right there.
Yeah, the area that's hashed in yellow is all within the city limits.
Okay, so we won't be taking any more road in or anything?
We're not taking in any more road or any other properties other than the acreage that was requested.
What is the bulge in the lines right there adjacent to the property?
That's a bridge project. I think it was a bridge replacement that the state did a few years ago. And I guess that the bulge is where they had to buy some right away.
Good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our second item for the Planning Commission report tonight is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 50, parcel 12.02, containing approximately 9.1 acres. It's requested by Dwayne Beard to go from R1 to PRD and PRD to C2. The property is located on Lee Victory Parkway. The recommendation also includes the rezoning of property located on tax map 50, parcel 13.06, containing approximately 0.24 acre, and it's owned by Parkway Baptist Church to go from R1 to C2 as well, and this is a first reading. Kevin?
Yeah, this is a request for a parcel of land that actually was divided a few years ago by the sale of a strip of land to the adjoining property owner, and so that's why you have the area in green is what was requested. Staff recommended, and Planning Commission also recommended to you the strip that's highlighted in blue on the map. That's owned by the adjoining property owner, Parkway Baptist Church. This is on Lee Victory Parkway. It's about 1,000 feet north of the intersection with Almaver Road. Land use plan would support a light industrial commercial mixed development here. Surrounding zoning is C2, as well as the adjoining PRD, which is Adelaide Park. In town, there is some parcel to the rear that's still in Rutherford County is owned RM. The strip of land, we talked about that at the Planning Commission. I did receive an email this afternoon from the applicant on this. For this, they have met with the church, and today that it went well. It was a positive meeting. They're working out. There's no agreement, I guess. One of the conditions or one of the things we would for the development of this property is that's the only access into this parcel, and so there will have to be some sort of an agreement to where the road becomes public, or there's a private ingress and egress agreement between the church and this property owner, or the new property owner is the applicant. They're working through that. We don't have that yet or anything like that, but they did have a positive meeting today, and everything appears to move forward with that. So I want to bring you up to speed with that as well. So, but again, all of it would be currently zoned R1 and requested and recommended to be zoned to C2.
And all of that was taken care of on the planning commission end of it, correct?
The road
with
approval.
With the road approval?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, one of the things, too, Mayor, I don't know if anybody's in the audience or not, but one of the things we also discussed was the PRD that's to the north of this. That's Adelaide Park. And we made real sure that we talked about buffer zones and things like that to protect those neighbors if this actually does become a commercial property. This is a 4-lane road. Commercial frontage is quite common on 4-lane highways near the interstate. But we want to protect those people in Adelaide, at least the ones that live closest to this property, from, you know, visual noise and light,
right,
things like that. So that too was discussed. Just, I knew you weren't here. We want to make sure you knew about that.
And again, in the same email regarding the driveway and all, the applicant, and he assured as much as you can at this point, I guess, that they heard those concerns and that they're willing to, from a lighting standpoint, buffering and all, that they'll work with us on that for sure. So.
Well, from a buffering standpoint, some of our strongest buffering requirements are from commercial to residential, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially the C2 zone. It's not C4 zone, it's C2, so it'll be pretty stiff. It wouldn't be the hardest. The heaviest is when you have industrial next to residential, but it still would be pretty heavy.
Yeah, and I think Mark mentioned it, and just to emphasize it, you know, we've got a 4-lane, 5-lane divided highway there, and we're taking R1 and PRD, you know, so we're taking residential off the table, and we're replacing it with commercial, which seems to be the best fit for this area.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Kevin?
No, I just appreciate you having the update from the person requesting getting with the church too in regards to the drive.
Yeah, I was glad it was fairly late this afternoon that I got that. I was really glad to get that too.
Did they, Mr. Beard or whoever's representing him, did they state what they think what the plan is for the property?
I mean, they're looking at some sort of, I mean, it's retail, but it's very speculative right now. They said restaurants, banks, you know, anything like that is really what they're looking at.
Nothing decided yet.
No.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our last item under new business, Planning Commission report, is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 28M, Group C, parcel 5.00, containing approximately 0.4 acre. It's requested by Roy Saylor on behalf of the Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity from R2 to R4. The property is located at 503 Enon Springs Road East, and this is a first reading. Kevin?
Yeah, this is a parcel of land. It's on Enon Springs, kind of just west of College Street, about 200 feet or so. Land use plan would support a medium density single family development in this area. Surrounding zoning is all R2. This parcel there's a house on the parcel now that was proposed would be removed. And then what they were planning to do would then divide the parcel, if the zoning is successful, to divide it into 2 lots and then build 2 homes where there is currently 1. The parcel does have frontage on Enid Springs as well as Frank Street to the rear, which is a public street. The parcel, as it's currently zoned R2, requires a 12,000 square feet lot size, and this parcel is about 17,000 square feet, so they couldn't divide it as it's currently zoned, and that's why they have requested this zoning to R4, which will allow a 6,000 square foot minimum lot. They had a kind of a sketch survey that was, the lots were proposed at around 9,000 or so square feet apiece. That's what they were proposing. That's all. Planning Commission did recommend approval.
This has been a long time coming for this parcel. I know that we're excited to see this come before us. And, we're always happy to see Habitat houses go in, and so it's always rewarding to drive by those two right there and see activity and all there. So
And they did a really good job on the two
they
other
did do a
homes.
great job on those two homes.
And visually, that will help clean up what's
Absolutely.
currently sitting there dilapidated and falling in. So.
Right.
And those homes where those two houses were built are really, neither one of those meet the R2 requirements from an area standpoint. They were grandfathered lots, but they were existing. So this would be a very similar type of development. It may end up, they're a little bit narrower, and they may end up, have to look at a lot facing Frank Street and Enid Springs versus the narrow straight lots or whatever, but either way it could probably be worked out. Yeah.
Okay, questions or comments? Then do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item B is Packaged Liquor Board report. There were no applications for the town to consider at this time. Item C is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Gresham Smith relative to the ITS Phase 3 and 4 and 5 NEPA and design services. Tom?
Thank you, Mayor Council. We went out to RFQ for phases 3, 4, and 5 of the ITS project. This is a CMAQ funded project. We were awarded 100% funding on that. The respondents included Barge Wagner, Gresham Smith, Neil Schaefer, Smith, Scheckman, and Reed, and Corradino Group. Based on the evaluation committee, we ranked Gresham Smith first and asked for approval from the town council on that.
Questions for Tom on this?
It's just something that I'm happy to see moving forward, because I think this will go a good ways in helping with our traffic flow and in situations to get this up and running.
Agreed. Other comments or questions?
It's a lot of puzzle pieces to put together, and this is one of the big ones, but some of the infrastructure that Mr. Gill spoke about in the beginning of the meeting is going to help us tremendously. So when you start marrying all this stuff together, hopefully it'll take some time, but we'll see some relief.
Tom, will you just kind of give a brief overview so the citizens that are here in the audience and on TV will just kind of know what we're talking about with the ITS project?
Basically, ITS stands for Intelligent Transportation System. What we'll be doing with phases 1 and 2, which we currently are in right-of-way acquisition phase, are currently in that phase, getting ready to move into construction phase, and then 3, 4, and 5 will complete the project. What we'll be doing is integrating the traffic lights together by connecting them through fiber optics, bringing it back to a central traffic operations center. That way a person can sit there and either view the intersections themselves. They can make adjustments to timing changes if there's additional cars that are getting backed up at an intersection, and ultimately help smooth out traffic flow around the major corridors: Sam Ridley, Lee Victory, Nissan, Enid Springs, Rock Springs Road.
Questions for Tom? Then do I have a motion?
I move we approve.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D is other, and Tom, I know you have, I think you all have our only item under other tonight.
Yes, Mayor Council, I'm sorry for bringing this up under other. Gresham Smith and Partners was awarded was ranked first in the RFQ for the LIC-funded Sam Ridley widening project and Potomac Place extension project. They submitted a cost proposal to do the NEPA engineering and right-of-way acquisition, the first 3 of the 4 phases of the project, and they'd submitted this cost proposal to us the other day. And in order to keep the project moving forward, Mr. Gill and I wanted to bring this to you tonight so that we can talk about it, maybe get it moving forward.
And all this stayed within our budget that we
Yes.
had already done, so.
Yes.
Questions for Tom? I think we all want to see this project with Sam Ridley widening and all move forward, so I was
Yeah,
glad to see it.
You can bring this in under other or citizens' comments or, just right after.
Awards and recognitions, whatever you.
Probably
house you do the sign.
right after the prayer.
So any questions for Tom on this? Then do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
We have a motion.
I'll gladly second
We have a
that.
motion and a second. Any other discussion or comments?
Thank you, Tom, for your work on this.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Keep it moving. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion passes. Anything else under other?
Yes, Mayor and Council, I was saving paper there. I put it in your Dropbox, but as I told you, since we changed, after the public hearing tonight, since we changed the parades and public gatherings to add the permit fees, I needed to add it to the fee schedule. So as you have in there, this is just adding the $100 fee for the parade permits and $200 for the demonstration permit application. Be the first reading.
So do I have a motion to approve the application fee and what was the other one?
Both of them are application fees. One's
Okay.
for parade, one's for demonstration.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Did you get one? I move we approve.
Thank you.
I thought I
Y'all
heard
are a little
one.
slow.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A second, good. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I'm glad that was the last one. It's getting a little slow tonight. Anything else under other? Miss Diane, anything tonight? Nothing. Mr. Gill?
I just want to say, first of all, thanks to all of you and many of the community. As you may have heard, my wife Leanne's father passed away last Tuesday, and he was born and raised down around Loretta, Tennessee. Ended up being a big old country boy, about 6'4". Married Wilma Beckman, his wife. She's about 5'2". They're kind of the odd couple when they're out and about, but he was a real man's man, just a great guy. We'll miss him, and I'll be brief. He started his career with THP, on the first motorcycle motorcycle team called the Yellow Jackets, and he had a real special yellow leather jacket and black leather pants, and was quite proud of that. Eventually landed at the governor's mansion to provide security for Winfield Dunn and Lamar Alexander, and I thought it was pretty telling about what kind of guy he was when Winfield Dunn called my mother-in-law to express his condolences, and I know she was thrilled by that. I saw Heath out here. I thought it was pretty interesting as well when he retired from THP. I don't know how this happened other than I think Lamar Alexander had some say-so in it. He ended up being Marvin Williams' driver and personal assistant, and then Jerry Benefield for 8 or 9 years. And Mr. Benefield came the other day to express his condolences, stayed about an hour. So he'll be missed. Gosh, I know, what do you say other than, sad to see him go, but he was Christian. He's in heaven now. We know he is. And but again, I appreciate you guys coming out.
Well, and we've been thinking about Leanne. I know I've been in contact with her a couple of times, and she seems to be doing as well as can be expected. So we'll keep her in our thoughts and prayers.
Appreciate it.
Jeffrey L.?
No further?
Nothing? Raquel?
Just continued prayers to your family as well as to Mr. Strange's family.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
HG?
You're going to talk about the upcoming Lifetime Achievement Award banquet and such as that?
No, I thought you were.
I wasn't
He
prepared
is
to do
now.
that. Maybe we should get Mike Moss to come up and talk about that.
Good answer, HG.
That's a perfect example of things rolling downhill.
Glad I was prepared.
Glad one of us was.
I know that I was, but I did pick up the timeout there to make sure that I was. Well, this year, Mike Allen is the recipient for the Kenneth Coon Victory Lifetime Service Award. And Mike was one of the first people I met when I came to Smyrna, involved in the football league, and well deserving. His whole family's involved, not only in football but in the community. And our Young Leader of the Year was Sydney Sane. So she's got quite a resume of things she's accomplished and going to accomplish. So we're excited about her as well. And I know Sima does a $500 scholarship for that individual. So we're excited for her. The banquet this year is on February 23rd, which is at the Event Center. So we'll do what we've done for the past several years. It's always a great night. Just appreciate the attendance of the mayor, council, and town manager, and anybody else that wants to come. I know Mike's very popular here, and Sydney is too. We'll have a good crowd. We also honor our leagues and their volunteers that night. Just an all-around good night, and being that we're at the event center, we know we'll eat well and eat good, so we're excited about that.
And tickets can be purchased by the public as well. You don't have to be invited.
Right,
correct?
yeah, you can show up at the door, and obviously we'll let you in. And I
Yeah.
hope we fill the place up.
I do too. Questions for Mike about this event? We could not do what we do in the town of Smyrna in regards to leagues without the volunteers that we have. There's no telling how many hundreds of volunteers that spend hours at those fields, and I think those are things that make our community very special. So.
I agree.
Okay. Anything else, HG?
That was all I had, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. You mean all you had or all Mike had?
Well, we could have, Mike could probably talk about some other.
Tim?
You know, I think it was so appropriate and fitting today that we were talking about Leanne's father, and, you know, thank you for his service. And today is National Law Enforcement Day. And Chief, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what your men and women do. You guys are a huge part of the success in our town, and I couldn't begin to tell you how much I appreciate everyone with the PD.
I think we all echo that. So, anything else?
Nope.
Steve?
Just a little bit. I'm going to echo Tim a little bit. You stole my thunder some. My grandfather was a police officer. I spent some time in the MP, so I'm particularly partial to law enforcement. And Kevin, I was going to say the same. There was a time in Smyrna when you mentioned the town of Smyrna and specifically the police department, and you usually got a chuckle and some comment about a speed trap. I don't hear those things much anymore. Since you guys have, since some of the leadership has changed, I think you guys have done a great job of giving us respect that I don't think we used to receive. I heard just this weekend, I heard some very positive feedback on the work you guys did in Murfreesboro a few weeks ago. I know they knew I was a councilman, and maybe that was part of it, but they actually approached me at church to thank me for the officers and the effort that we put into that. So appreciate everything that y'all do. That's all I've got. We just met last week, so not a lot's happened in 7 days.
Okay, Lori?
I do not have anything this evening.
Okay.
I think I share the same thoughts, Chief, and I want to tag on that a little bit. You know, Steve said he's heard some good comments outside of the local city, from other cities, of people that live in other communities. Well, I know from the standpoint of what I hear from people, especially from our police department when they do funeral processions, and how much respect they feel like they receive from our police department when they have a loved one that's in that hearse. So that's important to people, and it means a lot, so thank you. And I appreciate all that you all do for our town, community-wise as well. It's not just police enforcement and law enforcement, but you guys are, you know, the shop with the cop. The things that you guys do to give back to the city goes beyond law enforcement. We know that you guys have a lot of officers out there that put their lives on the line. You know, you're married to a policeman. You know what I'm talking about. So that goes, it's taken for granted a whole lot more than it should be. I don't know that there's many people, me included, that would want to get up and go to a night shift and work in law enforcement by myself. It's an unsafe world out there. So prayers to you guys. Thank you for all that you do. That's all I have.
I just have a couple of announcements. We still have our Christmas tree drop-off site that continues through January the 14th. When you're ready to say goodbye to your Christmas tree, if you've not already, and it's a live tree, you can take all the decorations off and drop the tree off at the football field area at Lee Victory Recreation Park. And our Parks and Rec department will mulch it and use it for existing and future trails. And the address for the park, if you don't know it already, is 110 Sam Ridley Parkway. And we welcome you to drop off your Christmas tree. Next, we have the Frozen Winter Celebration, which is Saturday, January 13th from 2 to 6. And you can make snow with your favorite Disney characters. I think Mark's going to wear his Elsa costume.
Absolutely.
Great. And Anna and Olaf. And
It's
invite.
2 sizes too small, too.
Oh, I have a visual of that. I don't think I can get out of my mind now.
Okay, moving along.
But we invite your family for a winter celebration at our SOAC Center, and they'll be singing and dancing and eating snacks, making crafts and frozen experiments. Costumes are encouraged, and parents get in free starting at 2 p.m. on January the 13th. Sister City, the Sister City program is recruiting students for the program. The applications can be found on the Town of Smyrna website, or you can contact Tiffany Lawson or Casey Connard here at the Town Hall. Prospective students must live within the Town of Smyrna or attend a Smyrna middle or high school, and students will be traveling this year to Zama, Japan for 2 weeks in July. Town of Smyrna offices will be closed on Monday, January 15th for Martin Luther King Day. Tomorrow is a big day, Mr. Gill's birthday.
How did you know that?
I know everybody's birthday in town, so
Do we
happy
know how old
early
he's gonna
birthday.
be? Do we know
Is it
that?
72?
I've
72?
dreaded this for a long time. Turning 50 is going to be rough.
50. Okay, the deadline to purchase a paver for the Jeff Coos Memorial to be included in our ribbon cutting ceremony will be Friday, February the 16th. Our ribbon cutting ceremony for the memorial will be the second Saturday in June, but to get that paver in and get the inscription on it, we'll need them to be purchased by Friday, February the 16th. And we've got a picture up. It's coming along nicely if you've not driven by to see it. They've not been able to do as much work here recently just because of the cold weather, but hopefully this week they'll be able to get back at it. And those are what the pavers are going to look like. And we have 3 different sizes. We have a 100, a 500, and a 1200. I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that. I know 100 and 500, but I think
it's 1,000.
Is it 1,000? 1,000. Okay. Thanks, Mike. There you go. 100, 500, and 1,000. So we're really excited about how things are moving along. We also have planters and benches that are still available for purchase. So if that's something you're interested in, we welcome you to give us a call here at Town Hall. Also wanted to offer condolences to Jeff Harris's family. Jeff is with the fire department out at the Airport Authority, Rutherford County Airport Authority, and he lost his mother. So just wanted to let him know we're thinking about him. And tonight, Heath Holtz is here with us from Nissan, and he's in Leadership Rutherford, and we are so glad to see you. We really appreciate the partnership with Nissan and look forward to a continued partnership for years to come. And I know, am I correct, Senior Vice President of Supply Chain Management and Purchasing, is that the new title? Yes. Okay. Well, like I said, we appreciate y'all's continued partnership and y'all's involvement in the community, whether it's Christmas parade, memorial, or anything else that you do. So thanks for all your support.
Some of us more than others. I enjoy it much more than others.
When you get your paycheck?
Yes, each month.
You certainly don't mean this paycheck, you mean it, right?
Definitely not. Do we get a paycheck? Because I need to talk to somebody.
Okay, anything else? Yes? No? Okay, if nothing else, then we are adjourned.
All right.